Lucky Lefty Podcast, Sonora Boys. We are in the building. Brought to you by Honora Whiskey. It's honorawhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. Courtesy of Bleav Network and presented by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app or go over to FanDuel.com. And if you drink, you have to make sure that you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Honora Boys in the building, brought to you by Honora Whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. Left, how you feeling?
Man, good day for football, always. I mean, it's the season's in. A lot of things are changing in the media space. All these guys are getting shows again. Skip Bayless got the show with Gilbert Arenas. Acho's got a show with Shady McCoy. I mean, the ball's rolling on these sports things, and it's cool to see.
So we want to start out today also saying subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok at Lucky Lefty Pod. Bleav Network, Audio Edible, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. All right, Left. Let's talk about sitting on for a day. How are you feeling as you sit this Wednesday after a loss to Miami, 27-24?
Boy, how are we feeling about it?
Yeah, do you feel the same?
No, I mean, I just feel like it was a preseason game for us. To have a bye week so early, it's almost like we get to redo our coming out to college football. I feel like we can reel off 11 wins and come out doing it the right way. We came off the first game as if we didn't exactly know what we wanted or what we had exactly. But at the end of the day, man, that's how I look at it. I think we have a chance to regroup, clearly see what is not going to get us to the victory, but also readjusting some of the things we thought we was going to be able to roll with. So having a bye week early is good for that. Get it out of your mind and get ready to hit an 11 game streak. For me, I'm not particularly too worried about it just because all the things that could have went right and all the things that could have went wrong, we only lost the game by 3 points. And I think Miami played the best they'll play all season, whereas we didn't play our best and we, got another team's best shot with all the trimmings and things included. I mean, that's the most fans they'll probably have all year. It's probably the last time they'll see a lot of those celebrities that came to the game because they came because we played Notre Dame. They didn't come because they were Miami fans that want to come check out the team. They came because Notre Dame came. Just like when LeBron came, when we played Ohio State. Have we seen LeBron back at Ohio State since? Okay, then. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We haven't seen LeBron at Ohio State football games since we played him. So that's just showing you the type of energy Notre Dame brings. Clearly, I don't think they'll pack out that stadium like they did week one. So, when we get a team's best shot, it is truly their best shot from all aspects. So for Miami to play their best game all season and for us to play so bad and for it to be a 3-point margin, I think we're in a good spot. And, the good thing is that we have a potential 2 seasons, whereas Miami only has 11 games left in there. So, I hope they should have did the ring ceremony and Gatorade shower because they won the Super Bowl. I mean, that's how they're acting. I mean, they're clearly thinking that there's no point in playing any other game because they beat Notre Dame. So that's how they have been portraying it, and that's fine because we saw what happened when NIU did that. they invested their whole season in one game and became a token note or footnote to Notre Dame in the long run. So I think we're going to be in a good spot. We need to fix maybe some of that O-line adjustment. Maybe put Emil Wagner inside or something. But either way it goes, I think we're in a good spot. And, at the end of the day, losing is not really accepted. But knowing what we have, you're excited about what's to come in the future.
Well, we're going to get to a couple of things. I'll say this, Lef. The defense didn't play as bad as I felt they did in the immediate aftermath of the game, and even on Monday morning. I'm going to keep it a buck. Marcus Freeman made a statement in his post-game where he pretty much gave a pass to the offensive line, and I felt like as a defensive-minded head coach, he's far more critical of his defense. But something rings true. Defensively, they were 4 plays away from, and I know this doesn't mean a hill of beans, right? Like we always say, if we're 5th, we'd all be drunk. They were literally 4 plays away from probably giving up 14 points. However, I'm encouraged by that because we felt the same way after the first game of Al Golden's tenure as defensive coordinator. Notre Dame gave up 3rd and 8 or long 4 times on Sunday. We became so used to Notre Dame dominating teams once they got to 3rd and long because they would bring pressure, cover, and more than likely rush the quarterback, get a pick, get a turnover, get a sack, or just end the drive and get the ball back. So to see the Notre Dame defense, and most people might attribute it to the loss of key players like Xavier Watts on the back end. Xavier Watts would have picked that off in the end zone, or he would have knocked the ball out of C.J. Daniels' hands, or somebody else. Riley Mills would have made a play. He would have rushed the quarterback and got to him in just enough time. So I understand how you feel that way after a game. But sitting here on Wednesday, really just looking at the game a couple of more times and really understanding that Marcus Freeman, when he talked about his team, he really was speaking about, well, in general, his team really was not good in situations against Miami. They didn't play good, sound, fundamental football in situations. 2 of the 3rd and 8s that were converted by Miami were blown coverages. Pretty much blown coverages and miscommunication. That's frustrating, but that is to be understood with a first-time defensive coordinator.
But that's what we said. Defense is not going to be the lead unit of the team. They're going to take a couple games to get on board. But even with a team like Notre Dame's defense, they were top 5 for 2 or 3 years. Top 5 is a hard thing to do, guys. So to roll out at the top 5 with key missing pieces that are big in a lot of aspects. Some on the field, some just as a leadership standpoint. And then with your defensive coordinator, just the whole influence. It's the same thing I said about Kalen DeBoer following Nick Saban. You'll see why you love Nick Saban so much, not because Kalen DeBoer is not good, not because Chris Ash isn't good. It's because what we built, just like what Alabama's built, that's lasting and that's unique to what we had at that time. defense has to take a step back. And it's only taking a step back to be a team that's rebuilding, reloading, and balancing the foundation. 3 points is not something where we're like, oh my gosh, we need to fire the team. That's how they talking about Alabama. That loss is a different loss than our loss. Like you said, defense didn't play terrible. I just thought we played very passive. I just thought we played passive. We did some things where it was like, okay, we would have looked different last year doing that in those situations. But once again, you got guys that haven't been out there before, guys that are getting on board, the communication's changing, guys got to play bigger roles than what they previously had thought. My biggest question outside of what we're talking about defense was just the ability of leadership. I think that was the most standing out thing to me, not because we're not a good team, but who's the bona fide leaders, not the guys that the coaches call. And when you look at the captains, what captain is different than the other? All of them are just really good guys. Don's not going to be much of the rowdy. You know, Emil Wagner's not much of the rowdy. They're just really good team guys and players, but at some point you need to have some personality. I think last year just had personality, a different type of energy, a different type of leadership. I mean, you had Xavier Watts on the field, very highly respected guy. You had Benjamin Morrison, who was an integral part of a team, even though he wasn't on the field. You had a Riley Mills and a Howard Cross, vocal guys that you could say let's stand on the foundation. When you look at our defense, you kind of look for the leadership. Are you saying Jordan Patello? I mean, I guess. I know Drake Bowen is the leader, but who is that bona fide leader? Jalen Sneed wanted to be the leader and captain for a long time. What happened to him? He didn't show up on Saturday. He showed up after the field. He wanted to do some extracurricular after the game. But seriously, offensively, are we saying the bona fide leader CJ? I mean, that was his first game. I mean, Jeremiah Love wasn't even voted captain. So, I mean, you know, maybe his play on the field will show leadership, but he only got the ball about 10 times. Will Pauling, I don't even think Will Pauling came to the game. So who's the leadership coming from offensively? Jordan Faison, I mean, you know, is he the leader of the offense? Because the talent isn't a question. The leadership's a question on offense. Because we've seen when the guys that we thought were the bona fide, you know, leaders and this, that, and the third, when they don't get the ball, I mean, it's like they wasn't even there. There was definitely a shell of ourselves offensively. It was like we was on autopilot. We running plays. We don't get it. We go to the sideline. We kind of going through the motion. It's not a energized spirit. Last year went against Georgia. There was energy to it. Special teams was making plays. Marcus Freeman was doing the coaching thing. The team was responding from all over the place. Guys just flashing all over the place. But where was that pop or flat? I mean, we just looked like we was just out there. And really looked like we was out there saying, CJ, do it for us. Now, I just find it hard to live like that when you have so many guys we've talked about offensively that we're excited about that can do amazing things with the football. Malachi Fields, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian, Aeneas, Eli Raritan, Jag Larson. I mean, the list goes on to all the guys we know. If they got the ball, they can do something with it. But then you look at the stat sheet, and your dominant ball carrier and your playmaker was your quarterback. Your first time starting quarterback at that. So that model just reminded me a lot of last year. Are we missing that Riley Leonard, G. Willikers energy? I mean, it provoked some type of response from us. What's the provoking energy offensively from a leadership standpoint? Because all the guys we were looking to, in my opinion, from a leadership point, disappeared. I didn't hear one guy. I just heard a bunch of coach speak from the players. You hear from the player, oh, we didn't play good, got to play better, go back to the lab, boop-de-boop. There's no real personality on the team. Hell, is Marcus Freeman once again the most boisterous leader that we got? And he can't score no touchdowns and can't make no tackles for us. So that was something that stood out as a difference from last year, because last year it was like, okay, we just had guys you could point to that you just felt like, okay, that guy's getting them together on a bad series, or keeping them locked in the momentums, or keeping them in the focus for clutch plays. We essentially lost a lot of those guys. Hell, Traore can't come back and feel like he's the man and leader yet, because realistically got 3 games and he got hurt. So he's just trying to get back in action. He's just trying to get his moves down and make. And then you got Patella, who's been in and out. These are the seniors. These are the guys that we're depending on, right? Jason Anya ain't been there for a season. He's been there all spring, but it's the real deal now. The bullets is flying. Changes. We haven't heard Sevillano since he got recruited. So that's what I would question. Where are the leaders that can ignite the team? Because right now, we'll just go along with the get-along game. Gonna go through these plays. If they're good, cool. If they're not, okay. Get defense out there. If we stop them, great. If we don't, okay. So I think that's something that has to develop. But at the same time, that also comes through the coaching. If you're putting the ball in one guy's hand saying, do it all and help us and make us go, I just think that gets the other guys a little uninterested. So hopefully we change that model offensively to allow guys to, I'm not going to say be more involved, but that's essentially what it was. I mean, damn, Aeneas didn't even get on the field, I don't think. The Darian 6 touches is just not good enough for a flight down to Miami. I don't know. Darian could have stayed home for 6 carries now. Hell, for that matter, Jeremiah Love could have stayed home for 10. So, I think that obviously it'll get better as the season goes on. But it stands out so much because I just know for a fact the rest of this schedule is just low-hanging fruit. We saw what happened after NIU. We literally scored almost 70 points. So we scored 70 points. So for me, we have to talk about this heavily and deeply only because it's a team that forces a conversation about what's really wrong and what we can really use and adjust to. These games coming up is just going to put a bigger veil over what I know we can do if we played a better game than week 1. And we take that same game and apply it to the rest of this schedule, we still have a high chance of coming out on top. And that just says a lot about who the schedule we're playing. I mean, Syracuse just got totally dismantled. Boise State, what is that? Purdue, okay. I mean, now I do think there's room to grow, but it has to be an intention to it. If we go up there and just say, oh, we got to play harder, play longer, I don't think that's going to get us to realizing, because at the end of the day, our biggest thing that we always said was going to be our issue became our biggest crutch in the championship game. Now, is it going to happen like that this year? I hope not. I hope we address it earlier. I hope we could have had Riley Leonard more involved in the past game and some of these total blowouts, like in the Army game. It would have been nice to try to experiment a little bit more with him throwing the football, just because when it got to championship game, it just that 11 points felt like 11,000 points. I was like, man, I don't see us just back to back scoring quick drives on pack. Like I just didn't see it. Penn State, the guy fell down. Let's just keep it a beam. Keep it a beam. The dude fell down on Jordan Greathouse. Keep it a beam. If the guy doesn't literally fall down, history may be different. Who knows?
No, he didn't fall down on his own, bro. He got crossed.
Oh, okay, he didn't fall down himself. I'm just saying that's an amazing play.
You have to give some credit.
But that's what we was. That's what the type of. But that goes to the energetics and the leadership and all that affecting the team. I didn't see the spark coming from anybody but the quarterback in the first week of the game, and that's concerning. There wasn't no like, oh, okay, we about to get back home. Here we go. We got the only name that come to mind was CJ. It was no thought of anybody else. It didn't feel like it during the game. CJ taking all the hits, making all the runs, making all the plays, throwing it. It feel like either they wasn't rallying around him enough. Is CJ activating that leadership? What did they, So I don't know. It felt really weird to feel like we regressed after such a crazy team victory type of season. I mean, we was winning in different ways. It wasn't just we had a great defense, great offense. We were winning special teams. We was winning on all three phases. So maybe it's a little hangover, but a bye week should have us opening up a little bit better coming home.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, Lef, because you talked about the disparity. And this is why numbers can tell a story, numbers can lie, and numbers sometimes can be very accurate. 18 first downs to 20. Notre Dame on third down was 4 of 9. Miami was 5 of 14. Miami's 1 for 2 on fourth down. Total yards, 325 for Notre Dame, 332 for Miami. Notre Dame threw for 221 yards. Miami threw for 205. Yards per pass. Notre Dame was at 7.4. Miami was at 6.6. Talk about the defense not playing as bad as they looked. Everybody was like, oh, Miami ran the ball. They ran the ball for 3.4 yards per carry.
Yeah, they talk about, oh, we pushed y'all around. I mean,
now the time of possession, I think the third down numbers and the time of possession really tell the story. And the
second half, they came out
turnovers.
7 minutes?
They basically held the ball 34 minutes in the game to Notre Dame's 26 minutes. And they had 14 attempts at third down. That's 5 more third down attempts. That's really the story of the game. It's not found in the yardage. It's not found in first downs, passing yards. There was like a 27-yard disparity in rushing yards. That didn't tell the story. Penalties. Notre Dame had 5 for 30 yards. Miami had 6 for 51. Miami's tackle should have had at least 2 to 3 more holding penalties. I'm not even about to go down that rabbit hole.
We had 2 or 3 possessions and 3 and outs.
Notre Dame played a C-plus game.
Yes.
And the turnovers and lack of third down opportunities, for many reasons, really was the story of the game, along with time of possession. That's the story of the game. And it really was, as Marcus Freeman said, our inability to make plays situationally on both sides of the ball. You blame Mike Denbrock, 3rd and 1.5, first half to extend the drive. we're running the ball straight ahead with C.J. Carr. For what? I understand quarterback draw. I understand him scrambling. There is no reason on 3rd and short to ever run C.J. Carr instead of the running back in the backfield. Nada. You got 2nd and short, 2nd and medium. Eli Raridon coming across wide open to the flat. Easy 6-7 yards.
Throw it in the dirt.
Just drops the ball. I mean, it literally was one of the worst situational performances I've seen in the Marcus Freeman era. And then the speech, we'll get to the speech a little bit later in the show. But let's get to one of these GTB questions before we talk about the 2 turning points in the game. Indy Milton fan, why in God's name for all that is holy in this world is Knapp starting left tackle? We've been asking that for over.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll say this once, and I'm going to say it for the last time. You knew something was fishy when you had your starting left tackle who won the job fair and square from 2 veterans. Emil Wagner and Tosh Baker were the left tackles. They got beat out by a redshirt freshman named Charles Jagasaw. He was your starting left tackle going into last season before he got injured. They thought he was going to miss the entire season. He really was ready to go by the end of the regular season. He returns in the playoffs. He plays 1 game at left tackle against the best defense on the schedule and plays the position after not playing or practicing at the position all season long. He plays left tackle better than the starting left tackle did all year long. And what does Notre Dame do? They move him right back to guard. So when you ask me why, at this point, I think it's very clear why. How do you, as the starting left tackle, lose your job to injury when the person that replaced you is not playing at an elite level? I could see if he came in and was just killing, and you were like, man, we don't want to move him. He's playing left tackle at an elite level. But we do want Charles on the field, so let's move him to guard. There was nothing about the way Anthony Knapp played that should have suggested, let's move Charles Jagasaw to guard. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. He won the job through competition. The guy that was the starter got the job through injury. How is he not put right back at left tackle when he returns? How? Any other place, the injured starter gets his job back when he returns.
Any other place.
Any place else. Any other place.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
Any other place. Unless the person replacing him is playing at an all-American level. And that was not the case.
That was not the case.
That was not the case. And so it's amazing to me. You know what I laugh at? I laugh at sometimes some of the fans that now want to lash out at Anthony Knapp. And they were the same fans that applauded Anthony Knapp getting the job because they felt like Charles Jagasaw was too big to be a tackle. He's too big to be a tackle. He should move inside. And I said it a year ago before the season started, before Charles Jagusah got hurt, he's the best lineman in the room as a redshirt freshman. I said it then. He's the best lineman, period, in the room. If you put him at guard, he's the best guard. You put him at tackle, he's the best tackle in the room. He's the best lineman in the room. He just can't stay healthy. That's it. And the best ability, we all know, is what? Availability. And he struggles to be available. He struggles to be available. So hopefully they get him back sometime in October. Hopefully when he returns left, he's moved to left tackle, or they at least allow him to work in practice when he comes back at the tackle position. Do I feel like he would have performed better than Anthony Knapp and Styles Prescott if he had been healthy? Well, if he had been healthy, he would have been playing right guard. And Gerby Lambert would have been third string guard. Or Sullivan Absher would have been third string guard. Just, I don't know, Left. So, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Guys, you can go over to FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. And if you go over to FanDuel, man, what you will find is some interesting totals for this weekend. Some big games this weekend, Left. It really is. There's some big games this weekend. But the totals, kind of sketchy. Iowa State. Iowa is a 2.5-point underdog. The total is 42.5. They expect a low scoring game in that one. You got the Baylor SMU matchup. Baylor pretty much got ran over by Auburn. SMU is ranked 17th in the nation. SMU is a 2.5-point favorite. FanDuel loves that 2.5-point spread, bro. They expect a lot of points in this one, 63.5. And then one more. Notre Dame's next opponent, the 19th ranked Texas A&M Aggies. They play Utah State. Now, they struggled against the run against UTSA. But right now, they are favored by 31.5 points. That's a lot of points, man. That's a lot of points. And with the over-under being at 54.5, whoo, just 3 of the games over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. All right, Left. You want to look at what I consider to be the 2 most important plays in this game. The 2 most important plays in this game. And we can start with this first one, Left. We know what it is. I want you to break down what upsets you about this play so much, Left. CJ Carr, they have a 2nd and 2. Notre Dame's driving to tie the game up after getting another stop. 2nd and 2. And you see here, this is the eventual interception. I would love to remind people, if you want to be locked in during the game, pregame, and after the game, go to Overtime Malik or Malik ZAIRE 8 on X. Literally 20 minutes before this interception, Left, you tweeted out, if we keep throwing this screen, eventually they're going to pick it. It was prophetic the way you said that. You literally said, if we could keep going back to this screen, they're going to intercept it. And that's exactly what happened. So it plays out. Right now, the first thing, this is an RPO call. RPO. It's a run. But if you see the numbers, throw it outside. And I think what CJ saw here, Left, is he counted 7 in the box, And immediately he thought to himself, let me get the ball outside. However, he did not check where the defensive back was and the adjustment that Corey Heatherman had made with his DBs in this formation. He's basically right there lined up just as close as the defensive linemen are to the offensive linemen. CJ has to see this alignment and just has to stick with the run. But he doesn't. He just goes back to his math in the box, 7, get the ball to the outside, and it leads to what I think is the biggest turning point in the game. This interception that allowed Miami to go up 10. Notre Dame then got a field goal in the next drive, cut it to 7. They eventually tied it up. But this, to me, is the biggest turning point in the game. Some people could get on Jordan Faison for not making a bigger attempt. I get it. But that's, just unfortunate. Great hustle by Ruben Bain Jr. Absolutely great hustle by Ruben Bain Jr. But that definitely right there, turning point in the game. You know what? That's a great point. Werewolf, I was looking at that too. Yo, you got the guy 10 yards off to the bottom. Check to that. Absolutely. But you can't check to that if you're not checking the alignment. And this is what Left was talking about. And Left, feel free to chime in. That's where communication, right? Where a quarterback can just look out to Malachi Fields and just give a look. And Malachi Fields knows, okay, he's about to throw it to me real quick. I'm one-on-one. I make a move, get 4 or 5 yards, break a tackle, might bust it for 10 to 15. But that's a lot to give a first-time starter at quarterback. Now, understand how simplistic they wanted the look or the read to be for CJ Carr all night long. Very simple. If it's 6 in the box, run it. If they have 2 high safeties, run it. This time they had dropped the safety down 7 box. Man, get it to the outside. They had been successful all day. Unfortunately, Miami started to make the adjustment and come up. But here's the kicker. This is why Left, honestly, looking back on it, I didn't have a problem early on with them throwing as many screens as they threw. As long as the purpose was to get Miami to creep up. Like, if you're throwing the screens to get Miami to creep up late in the second half, so now you can take shots over the top, that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly what I would want. Creep up. Now that I see you creeping up, I'm taking shots down the field. Unfortunately, that is really a lot. Some seasoned quarterbacks can't really take in all of that information pre-snap and make the right decision. When you give him a simple read based upon the box and numbers, Marcus Freeman said it. Certain things we gave the young man, we shouldn't have given him options. We should have just told him, run the ball this play. And right there, that's one of the biggest turning points because Notre Dame had the momentum. They had the momentum. And when you make the interception, that's less opportunities at third down conversions, less opportunity for time of possession, less opportunity for more plays, less opportunity for their defensive line and their defense to be weary and tired in that humidity and heat down in South Florida. All of that is cumulative. All of that is cumulative when you miss opportunities and you miss chances. That play, ladies and gentlemen, stands out, not just because of the turnover, because it was a missed opportunity to seize control of the game. It was just a flat-out missed opportunity. But when I peel the layers back, I can't be mad at Mike Denbrock for what he was doing early. But there should have been a conversation to say, okay, we can't keep doing this all night. At some point, they're going to adjust. So when they adjust, you have to look for the alignment of the DBs. And if we keep the RPO on, check the other side in the boundary, which is a shorter pass, check the other side to see where that DB is, because that can be your quick pass or your quick hitch or your quick out off of the RPO or your quick slant off of the RPO. It's a lot of different things, but like I said, do you really want left? You talked about it. Do you really want to give all of that responsibility to a first-time starter at quarterback? It's questionable. It's a lot, but I just think they missed the opportunity that was afforded to them because what they did early worked. Here you are, middle of the third quarter in Miami, the safety's down in the box, and now here you have the defensive back closer on the outside to the field. Now you can go to work. You can do a switch route right there. Greathouse can hit the fade route out the slot, switch route, come across the middle, hit the seam behind it, single high, you hit that seam, or you just let MALIK Field's backside go to work. Or how about this? The guy that just got 8 yards on first down, give him the rock again. Give him the rock again. It really is that simple. So looking back at I feel much better about Notre Dame's defensive performance after a second and third look than I did in the immediate aftermath and then even on Monday. Offensively, there are things I loved. CJ Carr struggled a little bit early, but I think some of his struggles were him, jitters a little bit, but then some of his struggles were just a result of the offensive line's inconsistency. Then once he got in the rhythm, you saw what he could do, but the constant throughout the entire offensive performance was inconsistency from the offensive line. Inconsistency from the offensive line. And I think for the most part, I feel much better. Not about the loss, but I feel much better about the aesthetics in a lot of different areas, right? I feel great about MALIK Fields because that was a great throw. The catch, CJ threw a fantastic ball, but the catch was better than the throw, and the throw was fantastic. MALIK Fields, you can't have that turnover early in the game. You can't. Absolutely can't. But once again, that was great hustle by Justin Scott. Great hustle, great hit, creates the turnover. But once again, the turnovers keep you from adding plays, giving yourself time to add to the time of possession, and giving yourself opportunities to score. On 3 separate drives in the first half, Notre Dame missed opportunity to extend drives for simple play calling, bad play calling, or just simple mistakes that would have led to points. At least 3 drives in the first half.
Absolutely. Even the turnovers have been.
You can't have that. You can't have that. So left, the first play we brought up was in it. Now that you're back, the first play I brought up was, of course, the interception. Because we had 2 plays that we feel like were the plays of the game, the turning point. This right here, pre-snap left, and I'm going to run it back. This pre-snap, and you could talk about it. Mike
Yeah.
Denbrock did exactly. Let me set you up. Let me set you up because then you can go through all the scenarios for a young quarterback. All game, this was very simple. If it's 7 in the box, get it to the outside. If it's 6 in the box, run it. They just asked CJ Carr to count. That's all they did. Count. Hand it off on the RPO or get it to the outside. Unfortunately, what you want eventually as an offensive coordinator is you want the defense to start to creep up. You want that safety to creep up. You want that defensive back to come up and bump and run. Why? Because now you can take advantage of things over the top. Now you can go down the field. And this is the opportunity to be able to do that. However, you have a young quarterback that has been used to doing things and reading things one way and didn't read out the rest of the picture. Why? Because he's a young quarterback.
Right. And that's exactly the things that you want to avoid early on in situations like this. You know, it's the fourth quarter. You got the ball, you're trying to get the momentum back, and it's 2nd and 2. 2nd and 2, I'm just not giving a young quarterback an RPO. Because 2nd and 2 is a purgatory situation. It's purgatory. It's sort of in the middle of the field. There's not a premium necessarily on handing it or throwing it. You can read it and live with it. But situationally, from the game perspective, I'm just trying to get yards. I'm just trying to find a way to get yards the best way possible. That's by handing it off. That's the safest and best way. In a situation like this, it's an RPO where, like you said, they got 7, we're throwing it out, living to see it next down. However, in level 400 football, and the experiences will grow for CJ. Yes, this is a 7-man box. Yes, the rules tell you in a 7-man box, throw it out. Pre-snap right now, CJ's thinking, I'm throwing it out regardless. I need to find a way to flip my feet fast to avoid the fake to get the screen out. The problem that you run into pre-snap is that, yes, all those rules work except the man is pressed. Now, theoretically, yes, the guy inside should pick him off and he should get it and run for however many yards. But this is real life football. People not going to move like how the paper tells they going to move. So what CJ has to realize is because he's pressed and aggressive, it's just a hard block and a hard play to live with, throwing it out because that receiver on the inside has to take such a sharp angle and be so aggressive and so explosive to go right down the line to get the man press. And you're throwing it, which makes it even more murky because if the inside slot receiver doesn't do his job 100% perfect, this play is not going to be able to get executed at the highest level because you're going to have a breakup. And as a quarterback, you see this pre-snap, you should eliminate it just because it's like you don't want to live like that. That's what you call 50-50. He gets it or he doesn't get it. It's too murky of a play for me pre-snap. And this is a quarterback that's seen those scenarios. You just don't have enough practice time to go through every situation. So this is one he just didn't go through. And unfortunately, he has to learn. And this is what he's learning. So he's like, if I see this look again, I just don't want to live on taking the chance of throwing it out there in that look. Now, if the corner at the top was like the corner at the bottom.
Left. Can I ask you a question, Left?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Left?
Yes.
Like what you just said is perfect. I want you put you in this situation and the relationship you had with a Breezy or a Will. If they are now, you see this and you know it's an RPO, because of the relationship and the time you spent with Will and Breezy, do you see the 8-9 yard cushion that MALIK has in the boundary? Can't
Yeah,
you just
but
give MALIK a look? You can just give MALIK a look like I'm coming to you. Quick hit. I'm
now
about to
that's
throw it out to you.
level. That's level 500-600 when the team
Right.
trusts you to put them in the best position.
Right.
Where
Right.
if I was CJ in this position with the things that I'm asked of in this very same play, CJ in this offense has to see himself as a run threat. The play that equalizes this is CJ reading the end, which makes the end not blocked, which makes the box perfect to handle football. Because in the same play, what CJ should have done was eliminate the throw because the man is pressed and just read option to end. This is the level 4 or 500 when CJ learns, okay, I'm a threat also. Because guess what? The tackle is not blocking the end regardless of what he does. And the reason why he's not blocking the end is because the defense is bringing the safety down, which makes it a 7-man box. So the line, being as smart as they are, is like, we have 7, but we actually have 6 because we're going to let the quarterback handle the defensive end. So in this play, CJ should have just read option the defense end, which would probably tell him to pull it. He could have ran for the first down and fell down. Now, that's 3 different options for a first-year starting quarterback in an away game versus a top 10 team down 7 in the fourth quarter. This is where calling plays for inexperienced guys has to be crucial. This is contradictory to what Denbrock said. He said he wants to roll him slow into this. This is not rolling a quarterback into anything. This is the Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady play call for a guy who has over 30 games and knows what he's getting. CJ literally had 3 options on this play, and you're going to tell me he's going to make the right decision every time? That's the world we was living in unnecessarily, because at the end of the day, everybody's right on the field. CJ's right for the decision, but Denbrock's going to be like, okay, this is how I teach you that next step. Jeremiah Love is right. Man, he should have handed me the ball. The receivers are right. Man, you got to make that block. So everybody's right, but when it comes to executing a play, this is not simple. Think about it. We've talked about this play for 10 minutes. Now, in real time, he has to make this decision between 3 people and versus the look of the defense in 2.5 seconds. Come on.
And it's 6 on the play clock right now. It's 6 on the play clock as we look at it.
You're down 7. You're probably tired of getting hit. You probably don't want to carry the ball. Let's just be serious. CJ's probably, what is he? He's 8 carries in right now. And he's like, dude, I'm sick of these quarterback carries. I'm not really trying to do it right now, but I'll throw it because I'm comfortable right now throwing it. Now, if this was Kenny Minchie, what is Kenny Minchie going to do, Sean? This is why I think Denbrock grabbed the wrong game plan before he left to Miami. He grabbed the wrong one off the desk. There was a CJ one and a Kenny one laying right next to each other, and he accidentally grabbed this Kenny one because he literally called this game for Kenny Minchie. He just was like, damn, I grabbed the wrong play sheet. I had the 2 sitting there, and I grabbed the wrong one because there's no way. Kenny, in this situation, in my opinion, is pulling it and running it because that's what he does. He's 230. He's thinking second down and second and sec. Man, I'm taking his D. Look, they're gonna bite on Jeremiah. They're not gonna think me. Now, this is hypothetical, but that's what I would assume if a guy is used to telling us. He told everybody. He said, I can do some things with my legs. This is what doing some things with your legs play call. This is doing what your legs play call. CJ almost probably, in my opinion, probably felt paralyzed. He's like, damn, I know pre-snap I don't like to run. I kind of don't like to throw, but I'm going to live with it because I'm not trying to carry I'm not thinking I'm going to carry the ball to get the first down. I'm looking at 2 options instead of 3 because I'm going to run and tell Denbrock, it was pre-snap 7 bucks. I'm good. But Denbrock's going to be like, dual threat guy would see that as 3 options. You saw it as 2 and knew you didn't like the run. So that's why he was so quick to throw it because he's like, shit, I ain't taking no chance with that D, and I'm going to throw it. And I'm going to tell Denbrock, oh, he was pressed. Well, Denbrock got to tuck his tail and be like, yeah, you're right. I didn't go that next step with you. And yeah, that's a bad throw. Next time, just hand it off. That's the exact conversation we had. Just hand it off next time. Because the DN is responsible for you, so the line's not blocking him, but you're not thinking about that because you're not a read option quarterback. Where else in college football can we say that CJ could go somewhere else, recruit it, and they tell him, hey, you're going to carry it about 11, 12 times a game? No offensive coordinator is going to recruit CJ and tell him that because he's not going to go. He's not going to go. He's going to be like, what you mean? I'm 165 right now. I'm not trying to 11. How many carries? Well, I got to get in that gym. But Kenny knows this. Kenny knows this. Kenny probably watched this game like, I can't believe they running all my plays for him. He probably thinking like, what? Are they saying that he can run better than me? Are they saying he can make plays like those are all Kenny type plays? That's why I'm hoping Denbrock grabs the right game plan sheet this time. Doesn't grab the one on the left, grabs the one on the right. Because you know when you put it on the desk and then you go on the opposite side of the desk, the directions change. So your right is really your left and your left is really your right. That's probably why he got confused. But that play is signifying how complicated simple things can be. And how I'm not surprised CJ threw it because I believe CJ didn't want to run that ball. So he wasn't even thinking the option of read optioning it. But think about it. Run pass option is 3 letters. There's 3 options in it. He had 2, knew he didn't like the run, felt like he can only throw it. And that's just what happens. I mean, shit is. So that's why Denbrock stopped calling that stuff. Just live with a run and be okay with it. We're good if we run it regardless.
What made it worse, Left, is literally 20-something minutes before it happened, you prophesied it on X. You said if we keep throwing this screen pass, they're going to pick it off.
Yeah, eventually. Because CJ's not a run threat. So they're like, we're not going to go upfield. We're just going to run sideline to sideline. And then lo and behold, you get them lucky tips. And I mean, even the fumble by Malachi Fields, the guy was literally full extended trying to block him because the dude was pressed. I mean, it was just a tight play all around. So that's the level 400. CJ, will learn and it will be fine. But if we're going to run plays like that, I don't know how CJ doesn't feel like he needs to get in the weight room. If we're going to be calling games like that, I mean, Jesus, I mean, are we trying to put this kid at risk? Out of all the talent of ball carriers we have, 5 of them in the backfield, he got the most carries at 125? So no, Miami, you didn't do anything. We gave you CJ Carr for 11 carries and a bunch of throws. Like, that's not Notre Dame's offense. Because if it is, I mean, we just going to have a long season. And guys are going to get pissed off and be disinterested and whatever. But we'll be all right.
Yeah, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Don't forget FanDuel, the FanDuel app, and FanDuel.com. Lock in. Look, you know these odds. Your Jaguars aren't on this list of top 5 teams with the greatest odds to get to the Super Bowl and win it. Unfortunately, Left, but we got the Ravens leading the way. Ravens.
Wait, time out. That not on the list? Whose list? Who made that list?
The list at FanDuel. You do know your Jaguars are going to be mid this year, right?
Mid.
You didn't know
First
that?
of all, we're going to win our division. So we're automatically
let me get through this.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
You can talk about it. The Ravens are plus 700. The Eagles are plus 700. The Bills plus 750. Chiefs plus 800. And then coming in fifth at plus 1,200. the Lions. So the top four are really the major contenders over at FanDuel.com. At plus 700, you have the Ravens and the Eagles, plus 750 the Bills, plus 800 the Chiefs. And then you drop down to plus 1,200 with the Lions bringing up the rear. Opening night for the NFL is tomorrow night. And of course, it is the Dallas Cowboys minus Mike Parsons, who's now in Lambeau and Green Bay, against Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni looking to go back-to-back with his squad will go into this matchup with his NFC East rivals as an 8.5-point favorite. 8.5-point favorite with the over-under total sitting right at 47.5. If you want to take the Cowboys, that's at minus 115 over at FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Now go ahead and talk about your Jaguars. Left, go ahead. Oh, you don't have anything to say now about your Jaguars?
No. I'm letting you get it all out. I'm letting you get it all out. I'm real upset at the disrespect that Jacksonville's been catching lately. You know, like I'm really upset about this. First of all, we're going to win our division because timeout. You're telling me Houston's going to beat us twice this year? Absolutely not. You're telling me the Colts is going to beat us twice this year? Absolutely not. Don't get me started on these Titans that are the baby Titans. We're clearly a playoff team based off of who I named as our division rivals. What are we saying? This is Trevor Lawrence MVP year. We have Travis Hunter. You know how many trophies Travis won his last year in college football? 7. 7 trophies. He's a two-way player. We have Brian Thomas in his sophomore season. What are we talking about here? So clearly, Jacksonville is a playoff team this year. Are we Super Bowl? I don't know, but we're AFC. We're AFC champs, definitely on the way.
You finished? Can we get to the second play? Let's get to the second play.
You telling me we not, and we'll be better than Chicago. So, I mean,
do you see me trumping in the Bears? Don't see me trumping in the Bears.
Wait a minute. Hold on now. They did all Ryan Poles now. Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
Come on
okay.
now.
Second big play of the game. Turning point of the game. Notre Dame gives up. Notre Dame is all about winning the 8 minutes. The 4 minutes before half, the 4 minutes after half, right? They did a terrible job on the front end, giving up the touchdown to C.J. Daniels. Going into halftime. They come out and jumped out to me. See, we talked about certain players. They come out and immediately, the 4 guys on the defensive line are Boubacar Traore, Bryce Young, Jason Onye, and Jared Dawson. They go into the locker room and they adjust. They see the movement that Miami has been getting up front. So they go to a bigger combination on the inside coming out of half with Traore and Bryce. And the first 2 plays, they come out, they get pressure on the first play. They come out, run a nice stunt on the second play, apply more pressure. They get to a 3rd and 8. They even drew a penalty. And you're saying this is it. We're about to get the ball back. This is where the game is about to turn. And this play right here signifies it all. You see 2 safeties out of Stroman and Don Shula left. You see the nickel Devontae Smith. You see Leonard Moore. Of course, looks like he has outside leverage. He's just setting up. He's not lining up man to man. Looks like he's outside leverage. Now look up top at Christian Gray. Christian Gray is like bump and run. Right? Leonard Moore's playing outside leverage, of course, because the wide receivers are stacked. Now we go to the snap. What type of coverage do you think that is, Love? At the snap.
It look a little man zone-ish.
Man zones, right? Maybe Christian Gray is man.
Christian Gray is definitely a man position up top. It looks like they're playing a little bit of a minis quarters coverage, meaning that the inside linebacker is playing a curl flat. That top guy is playing a quarter half, and then Strowman is playing a quarter half. You see they're going 3 for 2 down at the bottom. Drake Bowen probably trying to play the middle of the field. So, it's kind of sort of a mini quarters. You got the man up top. So you're trying to contain everything outside of that top man.
That's beautiful, left. As you let it roll, Jaden Osbury, the linebacker up top, like you said, he has flat curl with the tight end. That's Elijah Lofton coming off the line up top. You see Christian Gray is jamming his man. Like you said, mini quarters. Outside leverage by Leonard Moore down. You see Drake going over to the slot man with the safety over the top of him. Everything you said, a mini quarters type of coverage. And I have no clue what happens right here because Elijah Law is just blown assignment, man. The biggest play right here to me.
He's in no man's land. He should be playing the man and not the reading the quarterback's eyes. He just kind of didn't play in relation to the man.
That's Jaden Osbury you're talking about.
Jaden Osbury didn't put hands on him, didn't reroute him, didn't do anything. He let him run right by him, full speed, untouched. It's hard for that safety to cover a guy 10 yards away running full speed. Jaden Osbury, if he's reading the quarterback, read his eyes or feel and get underneath routes. He just stood in no man's land. So maybe he was a hook player, but the coverage wouldn't call it for me.
So let's go back and look at it again, Left. So let's focus on Jaden Osbury since you pointed him out. Right now, he shouldn't walk out over the linebacker. He still needs to stay in the box to make sure that he gives Carson Beck, a free snap that we're here. We have the run covered.
Yeah, if 2 goes vertical at all, he should just put his hands on him. If anything, just to play the man, you're just not touching anybody. You're just reading the quarterback's eyes. For a quarterback, that's an easy picket. Because right now, pre-snap, if I know I have a 10-yard out, I love this play because I like the leverage. Especially because the corner's pressed. I have 10 yards of nothing but to throw outside of the 40, and nothing will affect it, especially if he doesn't get hands on. So, especially if he's an eye violator, he's looking like he's reading the quarterback's eyes. All I got to do is stare straight, hitch, and throw it to literally green grass to my guy breaking outside. A Don Schuler staring at the quarterback. I don't know what he's looking at. So, we were almost blind to even know where this guy was in the coverage.
So basically right now you're saying at this point, Jaden Osbury should be like shooting out to cover him.
Jaden Osbury should be looking to put a hand. Jaden Osbury should be looking to put a hand on this receiver running full speed. Once he gets past him, he should be looking to get underneath something or using his head on the swivel. Right now he's the opposite of him, meaning the slot receiver to the boundary. He's no threat to him. So you're going 3 for 2. You should be able to cover this. Unfortunately, you stay inside and I don't know, you no man's land.
And as we let the play develop, easy pass Elijah Lofton for 12 yards, first down, and Miami goes on to score and extend the lead to 21-7. Those are the 2 biggest plays, 2 biggest turning points when Notre Dame had an opportunity and a chance to seize control of the game and change the trajectory of the game. Miscommunication defensively and everything you pointed out with C.J. Carr offensively. Notre Dame situationally, if they perform the way they should have in those 2 plays, the game looks totally different. Game was totally different. And that's what Marcus Freeman, that's literally what Marcus Freeman was talking about in the post game.
But we also can show where the coaches and players can get better. Fourth quarter, let's not overload CJ in his first game. I don't want to give him 3 options on one play with decisions having to be crucial on the line. Let the young kid be a young kid. Okay, if we're going to run it, run it. We're going to throw it. It was beneficial to run pass option because you had a veteran guy who liked to run the football. So he's taking all advantage. If he sees green, he's going to run. Unfortunately, CJ's not that type of player. So I don't know if Denbrock thought that he could turn him into it, but CJ ain't finna. Man, them was 11 forced runs. Literally 11 forced called. No, you're running it. There ain't no throwing option in this. So I just don't think that's going to help CJ develop or keep him healthy all season. I think he wasn't prepared for that. And then you gotta be built for that at the end of the day, because if you taking all them hits all game, fourth quarter is like, man, listen, easy way outs are some of the better ways to get through a play. And so I just think it was a lot for CJ to carry for a first game, and they'll realize that and make adjustments. Because that's where this whole intellectual thing. This is where I like to just say, let's slow the brakes on this intellectual thing and all of that. I think it's an instinctual aspect that you develop through experience. So, Riley Leonard in that situation, I think he would just make the game or situation the 2nd and 2. I need the first down. I mean, he did it all last season. All them motions and flips and claps and all. Man, Riley's running straight. Forget it. This first down or nothing. Like, we ain't finna. He made a lot of that cute stuff like I'm north and south. CJ's got to follow the cute stuff because he's not a north and south guy. He's not taking on D linemen and linebackers in the hole. Let's just not live in that world because, I want him to stay healthy. And if he is going to live in that world, then you need to be rotating him and Kenny. You know what I'm saying? Rotate him.
Leadership and the adversity, and it's different here than it is at South Bend on a Tuesday. Like, what voices did you hear tonight when things were kind of going the wrong way, and that gives you confidence that you've got that part figured out?
Yeah, you heard our captains, and that's their job. That comes with the title, right? And if your team votes you captain, there's a responsibility to uphold that title, right? So many people want titles, but they don't want the responsibility that title entails, and so those captains have the responsibility to speak up, especially in tough times. Those captains have the responsibility to make sure we're holding guys accountable. Those captains have the responsibility to fix problems, whether it's their problem or not. And so I'm proud of the way they stepped up and really lived out the title that they've been given.
Last question opportunity for Coach Matt Fortuna.
Marcus, the first CJ touchdown pass where he scrambles forever, is that a sense of like the playmaking ability you guys see behind the scenes at that position for him? And I'm just curious, your inner dialogue through that play.
Throw it away. Throw it away. I was like, throw it away. And I said, throw it away, and then great job. It's just, he's out there. I couldn't see exactly what was going on. I'm watching him, and I watched him spin out, and usually when you're feeling pressure, it's like, throw the ball away, don't throw the ball across your body. But he kept his eyes downfield and made a play. Like, yeah, those are plays. Like, we don't draw them up like that, but those are plays that CJ Clark can make. And he made a good amount of them tonight, made some mistakes like any first-time quarterback will make, but his ceiling is extremely high and his future is bright.
Left, as we get ready to get out of here tonight, preparation begins for the Texas A&M Aggies. One can only imagine the angst amongst the players as they return back home. But Marcus Freeman talked about the leaders. You have 2 captains on your offensive line. 2. of your 6 captains reside on your offensive line, and to have 2 captains on your offensive line, and the offensive line to shell out that performance, can be scary. It literally can be scary. From what I've seen at several sites that graded out the offensive line, both tackles were abysmal. Ashton Craig was pretty good. Lee Shrouf was pretty good. But the tackles, some photos, some still shots that we've seen of certain plays left, just absolutely embarrassing. You looked at one still shot and said, man, what? I don't even know. There's nothing funny.
They had him. He had him like that. Still shot had him like he was getting held up by the police. That still shot had it. I thought he was getting robbed. I thought he was getting caught red-handed. I thought something was thought he was on fire. Because at the end of the day, this goes back to the qualifications for captain. None of these guys have been through the fire of what it means to be a Notre Dame captain. They just good players. You telling me Will Paul was supposed to go in there and start talking to people about did he be playing better and getting what are you talking about? Because when the bullets start flying, they're gonna be like, man, Will, you ain't even been here. Man, Will, you even got to the game. So I think the Notre Dame qualifications for captain were choosing more off of feel good and merit rather than embodying that real soul passion for winning and losing at Notre Dame, embodying the real soul and passion of what it means to play versus Miami opening day is deeper than the first game. Everybody out there played like this was just another game on the schedule. Nobody out there played like this was Catholics versus convicts versus all the legacy and history, 1 versus 3, 6 versus 1. They didn't play out there like that. So I didn't. What can the captain say? 2 of them was getting whooped. So, by default, it's hard to rally anything when you ain't doing your job. The other 2, one got, they still playing that play. And then the other one, it just. So I'm not. The captains obviously have they see that it's a huge gap between doing well here and then leading a team. It's 2 different things. You can play well, do your job, and all of that, and still not be a captain for real, a real leader. Like 2015, we had real leaders. We had real yeah, all right, play around if you want. He gonna get on you. Everybody there is well fed, well paid, taken care. Remember, they was taking trips to Italy before the camp. Grind, adversity, what? Them traveling the world. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that, but I'm just saying, where is the Jews gonna come from when they all on the bottle? Everybody's on the bottle right now. Oh, we'll be okay. Oh, we'll be all right. Oh, it's just a game. But there's no true leader out of the captains. It's just a bunch of well-upstanding citizens, well-fed, well taken care of, accomplished through accolades and team success. But which one's got an edge? None of them got an edge. You heard them talk. They just super grateful, super happy. This is hard work. But none of them got a real edge. So in that game, who would have spoken up? So yeah, the captain's got a lot to think about, not only at an individual level, but how are they going to affect this team? Because none of them affected the team. None of them. I couldn't even tell you who the captains was watching the game. I didn't know. At least you could tell, somebody, talking on the sideline or, bringing the team up for a huddle. Man, it was just another day in the office. So maybe Marcus Freeman need to have training table be bologna sandwiches for a week. Maybe we need to just the old school methods and routines after losing the game. Maybe we need some of that. Because all these amenities are getting better. We got hot tubs, we got training tables, steak and lobster, whatever you want. But man, we look like a bunch of well-fed kids out there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Marshall said spam sandwiches.
We're gonna have to. The chains on some of these dudes walking in here. I just want to snatch most of the chain. You can't wear that, man. You can't wear that. Looking all crazy in these still photos. You can't wear that chain. All that stuff. Man, listen. I think NIL should be based on merit, because when it's based on potential, these guys we well fed. We got well fed team right now. There is no hunger. These guys are just like, we out here to be out here. We're good. We're gonna do our job. That's one thing. No, they're gonna do their job. But when the rubber meets the road, when adversity hits, there was nothing to show for it. Marcus Freeman didn't even show for it. It was just like, all right, guys, we just gonna learn from this and move. No, it didn't feel like a rivalry. Hell, in my opinion, Miami was like, man, they're gonna turn it on at any point. It just felt like Miami was like, okay, we playing good, but at any point they can turn it on, and we never turned it on. We never turned it on because they didn't do it. They wasn't just killing us now. Like, let's be honest. Like you said, they only 3.4 yards average in the rush. That's nothing. That's an average college football day. That's a good defense day. We just never showed up, and that's just what it is, man. We looked way too well fed and taken care of, treated too nice, and it wasn't like the other team was mean. They just put it together more than we did,
Coach Freeman also talked about that play with CJ Carr, and this is what he had to say, how they might have to adjust moving forward. Left. This is what Coach Freeman had to say about that.
Turnover, you look at the two turnovers, MALIK has got to have better ball security, and we can't let that tip ball. It's almost like you didn't want JG to tip it again when he's trying to be a football player, because it got popped in there, and they obviously they got the interception. We got to create more takeaways on defense, right? We pride ourselves in being able to create takeaways. We didn't create any takeaways. We got to be intentional about it. And so the middleweight, I don't know exactly what it was, but obviously you're telling me we didn't win it. But more importantly, we got to take care of football. That's a week one emphasis. It's a total season emphasis, but the majority of teams that win the turnover margin week one are going to win that game. And they knew that. Well, I knew that. We just didn't win it today, and we got to fix it.
Front row, Mike Verdino.
What was the concern level when Christian initially came out? You went right over and said something. What did he show you by staying in the rest of the way?
Oh, I thought it was his shoulder, which he's previously hurt, but I think he got punched or hit in the throat, and so I knew he would be all right. I love Christian Gray. He gets a PI and then makes a big play, and he's a great example of win this play. No matter what happens early in the game, the life of a corner stinks, right? Especially if you're playing man and they're throwing your guy the ball, and it's a tough job to do, but Christian's able to reload and focus on winning that play. And so, but he's a tough dude.
He had said that one D lineman was tough, and they in the interior of the defense. See, the thing about Christian Gray is I love Christian Gray. He is that juice that you could have to a defense to start playing better and that spark, but he's a corner, the furthest away from the football at times. If that's the guy that you're so happy and so proud about, that's a concern. Because you skipped over the 7 guys in the box that's handling tackles and plays all day. So, yeah, there's a lot to think about when you're like, okay, my biggest thing is the juice. It just, even with the MALIK fumble, how do you do that in game one? It happens, but just the lack of carelessness. And then after, you got to look at the response to and after momentum plays like that. When CJ was getting thrashed and destroyed, it wasn't a urgent response. It was a response, but it was like, oh, damn, okay, go get him. It wasn't like, that's my quarterback. I can't believe y'all hitting my dog like that. It wasn't nothing like that. I gotta get the fumble. It just walk off the field. So it's the response to things that happen adversely that we just float through. I mean, how do you not be excited to play in a top 10 environment like that? Everybody's there, Hall of Famers, celebrities, and all of that. And we don't even show up. That's a red flag. We played as if the score should have been a bigger margin. Like the score should have been, if we, we looking at it like, oh, we lost by 3. But it wasn't, that's them playing at their best. Them playing at their best in our lackluster effort with no juice in probably the best game environment all week. It's concerning. Because what's that mean when we go home? You know how we play at home? We like to get real comfortable. We like to get real comfortable at home, where we just let teams come in there and act like it's their home game. So that's what I'm afraid of going into, especially after a bye week. You walk in that stadium home thinking everything is sweet. This team probably gonna come off of something dramatic this week. So if we didn't have no juice in the top 10, it's gonna be hard to think we're gonna have juice at home at a very comfortable place. Now we can drink now at the stadium, which is cool. I think that's gonna give us a little bit of an edge. Finally we can go in there and get a little rowdy. But if we go in there acting like this is Sunday at the park, it's just gonna be a long day. I don't think we're gonna lose. It's just gonna be a long day to watch.
Jay Greer's GCB question: was not naming a QB1 a lot sooner a mistake Coach Freeman and Denbrock would like to have back? I'll let you go first, though.
I always think it's a mistake, especially if you ain't got no rhyme or reasoning at the conclusion. Like, you left us at a climax to where after watching the game, you're like, well, I mean, what was all the competition about? Especially if we're throwing a bunch of screens and running a bunch of quarterback powers, and what was the competition about then? I thought we was gonna see the air raid of a century, because that's what was told to me was his strength. It wasn't running quarterback power. That was Kenny. I thought we was gonna see, I don't know. So I do think that we got to do a lot of intangible soul searching. It ain't on the field anything. I think, we'll play better as a team, come together, but I think it has nothing to do with football. We are just too comfortable. And that scares me for Texas A&M. We just going to let Texas A&M hang around. We're going to play good, but we're just going to let them hang around. So until we find a spark on the team, and it's not Marcus Freeman, then it's just going to be a long season, man. It's going to be a bunch of sheep without a shepherd.
That'll preach right there. Sheep without a shepherd?
We just out there. We just out there going along, no direction, no urgency. We just doing our thing. No excitement. No edge. We almost too professional. Like, it was like, oh, we lost, but that's just like whatever. It ain't that big of a deal.
John Massey with the GTB, not big on PFF grades, but Knapp had a 10 and Lambert had a 19, never seen lower than 40. Well, welcome to the party. We talked about that on Monday.
Like, how does that happen first game? It wasn't like they was tackle battle all season, It just, I don't know, man. But when you see how our D lineman was rushing, you're like, okay, they probably was probably challenging.
Bro, when you are giving up pressure on short throws or short sets, when it's a quick throw and you're giving up pressure, that's pretty bad. And that happened multiple times in that game. Multiple times. So I'm gonna be honest, Left. It's questionable. Hey, Coach Freeman still believes, right? This is what he said to his team right after the game in the locker room. Left, check it out. It's interesting.
You play a snap or you played every down. I don't care if you're a coordinator, or if you're a position coach, or if you're a GA, it doesn't matter. Everybody points the finger at themselves and said, what could we have done to make sure that we achieve the outcome we want? And that's what we'll do, right? Stay together. We got the best leadership, and this is when leadership has to show, right? Keep us together. We got to go to work. I'm not saying continue to do the same. We got to find different ways and better ways to do it. We can't beat Notre Dame, and we know there was plays in that game we beat Notre Dame, right? Credit to them. It's a good team. Top 10 battle, we lost by 3. Okay, we lost by 3. Okay, the first game of the season, right? We got a good ball team. I sat there and watched. I said, okay, we had to go through a little bit of the bumps in the road, but we got a good ball team. But we back to it. Right? This taste of pain, it hurts, the embarrassment. Okay, we got to use this as we go back to work. We're gonna go back to work, right? Stay together, man.
You know, the issue is it came from a guy who can't score no touchdowns and make no tackles. Look how quiet the locker room was. I mean, Marcus Freeman can't go out there and make no tackles. It would have been more impactful to hear it from even Emil Wagner or Anthony Knapp. Hey, guys, I got my ass whooped. My bad. But that don't define this team. That would have been service better for the team in that situation than a great Obama speech by Marcus Freeman. Because the speeches are great, but this is the season. The players got to go in there and feel the same thing you do. It's like we just so in awe of his great speeches. It's like, man, what a great orator. He talking to you. He is talking to y'all. Y'all falling in love with the man's speeches. Yes, he's great. But he's talking for y'all to activate. So until we get a player speaking like Marcus Freeman after a game, it's like we just gonna be watching this like the fans is watching it. This is not the documentary season. We don't got the cameras this year. We got some media. But if the only highlight,
it's season 2. They had a documentary rolling, season 2.
Okay, yeah. You still got to capture the moments from Marcus Freeman. You know, he going for an Emmy this year. I don't think y'all know that, but talk to his manager. He trying to get that Emmy. I'm with it. Him and Shane Gillis got something cooked up, you know. But other than that, in real time, we got to get a leader like that, a speech leader like that. I don't believe any of our captains are like that. I just think they're really good dudes, really respectable.
The captains that were like that, Left, they transferred.
Shit, I mean, we need because let's be honest, we need one of them captains where it's like, you know, he a little crazy, bro. You get on his bad side, you know, he gonna have the whole team running some crazy stuff. Like you just need one. We got a bunch of upstanding, go to bed at 9 o'clock, eat all their carrots and broccoli at training table, you know, do all the extra, help the kids of the blind after school and help grandmas across the street and tuck their shirt in. You know, we got all of that. But give me the football. I want a Brian Dawkins. Can we get a guy like that? Can we get one of them dudes that just he theatrical, but it's the field theatrical. He ain't doing theater like Avari Russell. He ain't in no plays, but when he on the field, it's like an actual play. Like, this man is like a movie. Because right now it's just, you know, it's boring to watch. It's boring to watch, and that's not how we usually get out there.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Great show. Chat great as always. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Helps with the views. X, TikTok, Instagram, Our TikTok is really blowing up, man. Really blowing up, getting a lot of views, a lot of likes. Go over there. We're dropping clips each and every day. And then Bleav Network, presented by FanDuel. You go over to the FanDuel app, download it, and go over to FanDuel.com. 2 big games to start the NFL season. First off, NFC rivals, Philadelphia Eagles. They will host the Dallas Cowboys. And then all the way down in Brazil. I don't know why, because the field and the game was terrible last year between the Eagles and the Packers. But now it's the AFC West rivals, Kansas City Chiefs and Los Angeles Chargers, taking the field in Brazil on Friday night. Go over to FanDuel and check on both of those games. Get the total and the lines on those games.
I'm not gonna lie.
FanDuel.com. Say it again.
I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't want to play in no Brazil. I'd be like,
No, for multiple reasons. I'll leave that alone.
yeah, I'll be like, I don't know.
The Chargers have been over there for 2 weeks, so I can only imagine.
Yeah,
I
like,
can only imagine.
all the places I get London and all that, but I mean, that's like playing somewhere in the Sudan.
They can't. Pat was like, oh, they've been over there for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Hey,
You know,
man.
Pat, he playing ahead. He already had a villa right outside the stadium, the all season before. He already, he working real estate out there.
Thanks. Hey, have a great time. Don't forget, 4 for 40 because of the holiday. Instead of dropping Wednesday, it drops Thursday exclusively. We did it live for you guys on YouTube, but it's exclusively over at patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network with Reggie Brooks. And then the Players Only podcast coming up this Friday, dropping exclusively at patreon.com. Don't forget, Bleav Network. Go tap in Apple Podcast, Spotify. For Left, SD2 Mics. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another edition of the Lucky Lefty podcast. Continue to spin it different.